Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday morning. It's Stephen Whiteside here from theuptrend.com. On Tuesday morning, things are fairly quiet. Stock index futures are a little below fair value, but certainly not moving too far away from unchanged. So we are looking for a quiet open on Tuesday morning. Well, yesterday wasn't that quiet. We tried to move the web servers and they got totally screwed up. I don't know all the details of why we couldn't get things to work, something to do with the secure socket layer. But we're going to have a meeting today from 9 to 10 to try to figure out what to do next. And if they've got a simple solution, I'm willing to hear it. And if they can move things over between 9 and 10, I'm going to let them do it. I want to get this over with as quickly as possible so we can move forward. Now this week we've got some inflation numbers coming out, we've got some retail sales numbers coming out, and we've got bank earnings starting on Friday. So the market might be a little quiet before those numbers start to come out. Now, one area of the market that's recovered quite a bit in 2023 has been the cryptocurrencies. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum are hitting new highs in the pre-market on Tuesday morning. Now, gold pulled back into the channel yesterday. It's up a little in the pre-market this morning. We need a close on Tuesday below 1985.70 to give us a sell signal. And crude oil pulled back yesterday. It's pulling back a bit more in the pre-market this morning. We need a close below $70.03 on Tuesday. Not expecting that to happen, and that lower channel line is going to continue to move higher daily. We hit the 78.13 level last week and have not gone back to retest it. If we can break out above that, of course, we have the highs from January, but then 81.25 would be our next target. Looking at the VIX, VIX traded up into the channel yesterday again. Did not close in the channel, so closing below the lower channel line. We're looking for a close on Tuesday above $20.89. And of course, if that doesn't happen, that upper channel line is going to continue to move lower daily. Today, I thought we'd take a look at the Canadian leveraged ETFs, and then tomorrow we'll come back and look at the U.S. leveraged ETFs. I trade these as pairs, so I'm either long the bull or long the bear, depending on which way the market is going. Of course, you can find these pairs that we're talking about this morning. You can go under stacks and you see the CA 2X pairs, and tomorrow we'll come back and look at the US 3X pairs. Looking at the TSX 60, you can see we're still on a buy signal here. I don't get overly concerned about worrying about a sell signal unless we're trading down at the upper channel line or in the channel. So I'm not going to read out the lower channel line numbers. There's no need for it. We hit 1875, got to lock in some profits there. In fact, we opened up above it, so even if you had an order in at 1875, it got filled a little higher than that. We're trying to get to 1953. If we can't do that and start coming back down, of course, we'll be looking for the bear ETF to start going back up. On Tuesday, we're looking for a close above $77.06, not expecting that to happen. And of course, that upper channel line is going to continue to move lower daily. Now, there's a little more concern in the U.S. market. You can see the S&P 500 ETF has hit the upper channel line and bounced for the past 2 trading days. A close below $13.72 would give us a sell signal on Tuesday. We're trying to get to 1484. That is certainly a realistic target, and that only would come into play if we can start closing above last week's high. You can see we're still stuck to 1406. Then, of course, the bear ETF, we need to close above $30.03 on Tuesday to give us a buy signal. Now, it's important to note that just because you get a sell signal in one does not automatically guarantee a buy signal in the other. So sometimes you have to wait a couple of days. Sometimes that other signal won't come. You get a sell signal in the bull ETF. A couple of days later, you get another buy signal in the bull ETF, and there was never a buy signal in the bear ETF. So that can happen sometimes. There's no guarantee. The ETFs are not connected. The only way they are connected is if the same people are buying and selling each of them, but they have no direct connection. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, You can see we should have a bit more concern here as the Nasdaq has traded in the channel for the past couple of days. And we had an inside day yesterday. We closed down slightly on the day. On Tuesday, we're looking for a close below 1059. Now, we've had lots of opportunities to take money off the table, so you're sitting with a partial position waiting to get kicked out. And of course, you have the option of getting kicked out of the bull and going into the bear. Bear also had an inside day yesterday, so looking for a close on Tuesday above $26.71. Now, looking at the Canadian sectors, the energy bull is still on a buy signal here. We were trying to get to 25. So far, we haven't been able to do that. You can see the open gap was filled, and now we're trying to figure out which way we're going next. Looking at the bear ETF, you can see there's still some white space between where we are right now and the lower channel line, so not concerned about a signal on Tuesday. And then looking at financials, now we have the financials in the database. They are very thinly traded, so just be concerned about that. The bull ETF is on a buy signal right now. That would change on Tuesday with a close below 1692. We're trying to get to 1797. So far, we have not been able to do so. And then looking at the bear ETF, we need to close above $11.88. Again, these are very thinly traded. Anytime that you see a little speck like that, you know that the symbol that you're looking at is very thinly traded. Now, moving on from financials to gold, and gold miners have been doing very well over the past month. And so here we are. We're still above the upper channel line, so not concerned about a sell signal on Tuesday. Inside day yesterday. Trying to get to 1875. We're still stuck at the 1719 level. We're dancing just above it right now. Inside day yesterday, we've traded above the January high. We haven't really broken away just yet. If we can take out last week's high, then 1875 comes into play. And there's the bear ETF, which also had an inside day on Monday. Looking at crude oil, and you can see crude oil took off last week and traded up to the high from a month earlier, and we're just dangling there in space. Mathematically, we're trying to get to 1563, but the highs from a month ago are holding us in check. And then, of course, you've got the bear ETF, and not expecting a change in trend for either of those on Tuesday. And then looking at natural gas, you can see the bear ETF. This is the bear that we're in at the moment. You can see we traded down through the lower channel line yesterday, so looking for a close below $70.46 on Tuesday. We're trying to get to 87.50, unable to do so. The high from back in February held us in check. And so we're sitting here looking to see if we get a sell signal on Tuesday. Now, a sell signal on Tuesday may help generate a buy signal in the bull ETF. We need to close on Tuesday above 1741. We closed yesterday at 1593, so got a ways to go before we see that buy signal in the bull ETF for natural gas. Okay, folks, that's all for this morning's presentation. We are going to be tinkering with the website between 9 and 10 this morning, and hopefully the tinkering will not last very long, and we'll get back on track as quickly as possible. Enjoy the rest of your day. Should be fairly quiet. Next time you'll hear my voice is on Wednesday morning.